Imagine a father and his son walking together. The father is older, wiser, he leads. The son follows, learning, respecting, and mirroring his father's character. There is love, authority, and unity. This image is simple but deeply powerful. It's the very analogy Yeshua used when he said, "My Father is greater than I," in John 14 verse 28. But what did he mean, and why is this statement so important? From the very beginning, Yahweh designed family to reflect heavenly structure. A father gives life, sets the direction, and holds responsibility for the home. A son carries the father's name, follows his lead, and honors his headship. This isn't just a cultural pattern, it's spiritual truth. When Yeshua said, "My Father is greater than I," he wasn't speaking of weakness or inferiority. He was speaking of divine order. The Father is the unbegotten source, eternal, supreme, and above all. The Son is begotten of the Father, sent, obedient, and glorifying the one who sent him. Yeshua's own words confirm the Father supreme. Over and over again, Yeshua pointed us to the greatness of the Father. The Son can do nothing of himself, but what he sees the Father doing. In John 5 verse 19, "I seek not my own will, but the will of the Father, which sent me." In John 5 verse 30, "I came down from heaven, not to do my own will, but the will of him that sent me." In John 6 verse 38. And in the Garden of Gethsemane, "Oh Father, if it be possible, let this cup pass from me. Nevertheless, not as I will, but as thou wilt." In Matthew 26 verse 39. These are not the words of a co-equal being. They are the words of a son who honors his father, who understands divine submission without loss of divinity. Yeshua didn't just say the Father was greater, he taught it through stories. In the parable of the vineyard workers in Matthew 20, the landowner determines the reward. The workers cannot argue with his authority. In the parable of the wicked husbandman in Mark 12, the vineyard owner sends servant after servant, and finally his beloved son. The son is not the owner, but the one sent by him. In the parable of the prodigal son in Luke 15, it's the father who forgives, restores, and rules over the house. The son returns in humility, acknowledging his father's place. These aren't random teachings, they illustrate Yahweh's structure. One supreme Father, one sent Son, and a Spirit that moves within God's plan. Hebrews gives us more insight. Yeshua is now our great high priest, not equal to the Father in position, but given that priestly role by him. Now of the things which we have spoken, this is the sum. We have such an high priest, a minister of the sanctuary, and of the true tabernacle, which the Lord pitched, and not man, in Hebrews 8 verse 1 to 2. Though he were a son, yet learned he obedience by the things which he suffered, in Hebrews 5 verse 8. Christ entered into heaven itself, now to appear in the presence of God for us, in Hebrews 9 verse 24. Yeshua intercedes, not the Most High, but the one who stands between us and the Most High. His priestly role highlights the Father's authority and his own perfect obedience. Why does this matter? Because without understanding divine order, confusion and rebellion creep in. Scripture shows the danger of ignoring God's hierarchy. Saul tried to take on the role of priest. He was rejected in 1 Samuel chapter 13. Moses struck the rock instead of speaking to it. He was denied entry to the promised land in Numbers chapter 20. A prophet disobeyed God's voice and listened to another man. He died on the way home in 1 Kings chapter 13. All these cases had one thing in common. They dishonored God's instruction and disrupted his order. The same is true today. Many unknowingly confuse these roles of the Father, Son, and Spirit. Scripture says, "To us there is but one God, the Father, of whom are all things, and one Lord, Yeshua Messiah, by whom are all things," in 1 Corinthians chapter 8 verse 6. "For there is one God and one mediator between God and men, the man Christ Yeshua," in 1 Timothy chapter 2 verse 5. There is one body and one Spirit, one God and Father of all, who is above all in Ephesians chapter 4 verse 4 to 6. The Father is the God, Yeshua is the Lord, the Mediator. The Spirit is God's active presence, not another deity, but the power of Yahweh moving through Yeshua and into us. So what do we take away from this? Yeshua didn't claim equality with the Father. He claimed unity, obedience, and perfect love. He taught us to pray, "Our Father, which art in heaven, hallowed be thy name," in Matthew 6 verse 9. He lived as our example, pointing every thought and act toward the one true God. Let us do the same. This is life eternal, that they might know thee, the only true God, and Yeshua Messiah, whom thou hast sent, in John 17 verse 3. Recognize the order, embrace the truth, follow the Son who leads us to the Father. The Father is greater, Yeshua is our way, the Spirit is His power within us. Follow for more biblical insights.